When you're shopping for some quality aftermarket parts that fit right the first time, think TRQ. We're going to go ahead and show you how to install a set of fog lights on your Chevy Equinox. So we're going to start by removing these clips right here. And you can use a tool like this here, or you can use a flathead screwdriver. We're going to move over to the other side. Next, we're going to go ahead and remove these Torx bit screws. There are 4 of them here, and that is done using a T20 Torx bit. All right, that makes for the 4th screw out of this trim panel. So now on the driver's side, we can grab this front panel, simply flip it up, and go over to the passenger side. We're going to do the same. Once this has been done here, we're going to go ahead and raise the vehicle. You can do this using a jack or your lift, and we're going to access the screws and the clips on the edges of the fenders. These clips right here, a couple Torx bit screws right here, 1 more Torx bit here, and then there is a bolt right up in there. I believe it's a 7mm. So let's go ahead and start removing these clips. We're using the same T20 Torx bit on a 1/4-inch ratchet. So we're going to use a 7mm deep socket to get up inside to this bolt up in here. Once we're done with the driver's side, we're just going to simply duplicate it and all of the hardware removal for the passenger side. Okay, now that we're taking out the last screw here, we're going to go ahead and raise the vehicle and access the rest of the hardware from underneath the front bumper. All right, so we have 2 7mm bolts right here on the passenger side, and then we have 2 on the driver's side. Let's go ahead and get those removed. All right, now that we have the trim removed, we're going to put our fingers in here on the passenger side. Just give it a gentle tug out. You can see where the clips would mount in. We're going to go over to the driver's side and do the same. So I'm supporting the middle of the bumper with my left hand by the license plate area, and I got my fingers inside behind the fender well liner and the front bumper. I'm just going to give this a gentle pull. Separate these pieces. While supporting the bumper, we can simply rotate out the fog light bulbs if your vehicle is so equipped. So let those hang, and your bumper is now separated from the vehicle. So we're going to go ahead and remove the screws or the bolt holding in the headlamp assembly. Up top we have this one right here, we have this one right here. Those are both 7mm. Down inside there, that is actually going to be a 10mm. And then where we remove the front bumper, we have this one right here, and that should also be a 10mm. There's also going to be another 7mm screw in this lower corner here you want to get to. Here we're using a couple extensions to get down there. It's roughly about a 10 to a 12-inch spot there to dig into. With those screws now removed, you can go ahead and remove the lamp assembly. If we want to go ahead and remove the wiring harness from this here, down inside there's a little metal clip. You can actually just slide this whole harness right off. Let you work on this electrical harness loosely. This gray connector right here, you want to pry that up. And then press on this little tab right here. And this should allow you to separate the connector like so. Now you can go ahead and remove the lamp and replace your bulbs as needed. We're going to start by connecting the main harness right here. You want to connect that, and don't forget to press in that gray connector once we're completely together. Here we go. Okay, so we're gonna go ahead and take this clip, and there's a notch right here for your wires to go through. Just slide that on there. And now ready for the install. This is one of the reasons why we had to remove this bolt down below. That way there it gives this fender a little bit of flex room to get this lamp set up. We're not going to snug these down yet. We're just going to get them to the point where it's holding the unit in place. Once we get all the hardware in, we're going to go ahead and go back through and do our final tightening on all of our hardware. This is where a little magnet stick or component comes in handy, because we have to get this bolt down right in there. We can just kind of get that set in there and then pull the magnet out. And the last bolt we want to get to is right down here. This is the one that holds that fender in place. All right, now we're on our final tightening. I'm just going to come back up to the bolt up top here. Just a little snug. I'm not looking for any record breakers for tension here. I'm going to switch back over to our 7mm. Snug. A little bit of resistance there, snug. And the last one right here. All right, so the driver's side removal and replacement will be identical to the passenger side here, using the same hardware and tools. You always want to go ahead and double check those lights. Make sure that the lamps that you just replaced are fully operational. Okay, so now we have the bumper ready to reinstall, and we're going to go ahead and put our fog light bulbs back into the fog light assemblies by simply inserting and twisting those outlets. Now that we have the fog light bulbs installed, I'm going to go ahead and lift up the bumper and get these mounting points lined up. Be sure to bring the bumper up to the mounting points and the hangers right around the trim of the lights. Just going to get these lined up for now. Using your leg as assistance, you can kind of hold the center of the bumper. You want to line things up. Gently work your way around and back over to the driver's side. This is where your bumper clips are going to mount right into the lip of the fender. Next step is to go ahead and put it up in the air, and we're going to go ahead and make sure that all the trim pieces are lined up on the bottom, and then we'll start with our hardware. So right about here, you want to make sure that your fender liner, or your wheel well liner, matches up, and this side here works good. Going to do the same thing for the passenger side, and then we'll go ahead and grab our hardware. And now you can go ahead and reinstall your hardware on both sides. On the bottom, you want to go ahead and install the 4 7mm screws. There's 2 here and 2 on the passenger side. All right, using your T20, go ahead and put your screws in at the top of the bumper area. I'm going to go ahead and flip this trim cover over. And this is a spot where you require to install these black push pins. Notice that there is a notch in this here. This is a specific type of pin. You want to make sure that they line up. Don't force them together. Go ahead and install. And that completes our installation.